All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. There are plenty of New York Mets fans that were sad to see starting pitcher Jacob deGrom leave in free agency over the offseason to sign with the Texas Rangers. But they are not surprised that the results for the two-time National League Cy Young Award winner continue to be the same with his new team. It took 5 years and $185 million with a 6 year option for the Rangers to lure deGrom away from New York in the offseason. And as deGrom was showing flashes early as to why he got the big payday from Texas, it appears to be the same old song for the oft injured starter. deGrom left his April 28th start versus the New York Yankees in the fourth inning with forearm tightness. And as Rangers manager Bruce Bochy initially expected his ace to be out for about 2 or 3 weeks, he has now been transferred to the 60-day injured list, with the earliest that he'd be available to be activated being June the 28th. Where have we seen this from deGrom before? He's only made 38 starts in his last 3 years with the Mets. And honestly, the way that he's looking right now, he's not a guy that you can consistently go out there and depend on. With the way Jacob deGrom is right now, if you get 15 starts out of him, consider yourself lucky. Too many arm and elbow issues to make him a reliable guy. Now, the question is going to be, is deGrom overthrowing? And in my opinion, I think that he is. I mean, you go back and look at that lights out 2018 that he had. He was only 10-9, but he had an ERA of 1.70 while striking out 269 guys. But you can't sit up there and throw 100 miles an hour with each pitch and think, you know what, that's sustainable. It's not in the cards for everybody. Even with your slider, your changeup, you cannot consistently go and out there and throw that hard. I've said it before for deGrom, and I've said this for several other pitchers as well. You might want to peg it down a little bit instead of trying to consistently clock in at 99 or 1,000. Pardon me, 1,100 miles an hour. You might want to think about like slowing it down to maybe like 92 or 93 and just learning how to locate and preserving your arm, because if you're going to go out there and throw that hard consistently, you're going to put yourself right in the path of injury. And again, deGrom has shown that he cannot stay healthy. deGrom is going to be 35 in exactly 2 weeks, and for me, it is time for him to change his approach on the mound. He's not a young guy anymore. You got to go out there and do things a little bit different. Now, like I talked about with the Texas Rangers yesterday, luckily for them, they're managing well without deGrom, as they are currently in first place in the American League West. They have the second best record in the American League, and they can take their time in getting him back. Maybe possibly getting him ready for the postseason. I mean, for the late season stretch heading into the postseason. But nonetheless, as this Rangers team looks like they're going to be a postseason team when October rolls around, it's still a scenario where you still can't rely on deGrom because of his inability to stay healthy. I think that a veteran manager like Bruce Bochy might want to talk to him about that. You have a guy in Chris Young that's leading this Texas front office that was a big league pitcher for numerous years. And of course, he was a part of the pitching staff for the Kansas City Royals when they beat deGrom and the Mets back in 2015. Maybe they can talk to him. I'm sure that, especially during last year with the Mets, that another veteran manager in Buck Showalter maybe possibly talk to deGrom as well. But at this point in the game, something has to change. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to change it on the fly here at this point of the season, but something's got to give. And if you're the Rangers, being that you have invested so much money over the next 5 to 6 years in Jacob deGrom, you can't just sit up there and say, you know what, we're going to pay this guy 30 or $40 million a year to only make 15 starts per season. That's not going to get it done. But nonetheless, I'm not surprised that Jacob deGrom is injured right here and for an extended period of time. And for once, if you're the New York Mets, you appear to have dodged a bullet. And I know that the Mets are having their own issues right now. They've basically been hovering around 500 after their strong start to begin this season. But nonetheless, they didn't want to go past 3 years with deGrom. And now we're seeing why. Yes, the Mets do have some veteran presence on their pitching staff with the likes of Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander. Big time money, yes, but short term on the years. And that's something that people have to understand, especially when you get a veteran pitcher at this stage of the game like DeGrom. But that just shows you how desperate that the Texas Rangers were to get this turned around. So, nonetheless, I think when it's all said and done, at some point the Rangers are going to have to accept the fact that they're going to have to eat some of this salary for DeGrom over the next couple of years. This is who he is at this point of his career. And unless DeGrom is willing and ready to accept that he has to change his approach on the mound and not throw 100 miles per hour on each pitch, this is like the path that his career is going on. 15 starts, maybe per year, but at the end of the day, his stuff is good, yes. But if you're only going to get a guy out there pitching every couple of months for you, it's very tough to rely on. And that's what the Rangers have to deal with right now with Jacob deGrom. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.